You pick up your phone for 2 minutes. 45 minutes later, you're still there. You've told yourself to stop. You've put the phone down. You picked it back up. You don't even know why. This is not a willpower problem. This is not laziness. This is not a character flaw. What is happening to you right now was deliberately engineered by some of the most brilliant minds in Silicon Valley using the same psychological mechanisms that make slot machines impossible to walk away from. Your brain has been hijacked. And most people have no idea it's happening. In the 1950s, psychologist B.F. Skinner conducted a series of experiments on rats. He placed them in boxes with levers. When a rat pressed a lever, it received a food pellet. Skinner discovered something extraordinary. When the reward was consistent, a pellet every time, rats would press the lever, eat, and move on. But when the reward was random, sometimes a pellet, sometimes nothing, the rats became obsessed. They pressed the lever compulsively. Endlessly. Desperately. Even when no reward came. This is called a variable reward schedule. And it is the most powerful behavior reinforcement mechanism ever discovered in psychology. Now look at your phone. Pull to refresh your feed, sometimes there's something exciting. Sometimes there's nothing. Open your notifications, sometimes it's meaningful. Sometimes it's nothing. Every scroll is a pull of the lever. Your phone is a slot machine. And it was designed to be won deliberately. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is an admission. Ozzy Raskin, the designer who invented the infinite scroll, has publicly stated, "It's as if they took behavioral cocaine and sprinkled it over the interface." He estimates infinite scroll costs humanity around 200,000 hours of human attention every single day. He has called it one of his greatest regrets. Tristan Harris, a former Google design ethicist, revealed that tech companies employ entire teams of engineers whose sole job is to find psychological vulnerabilities and exploit them to maximize time on platform. They call it engagement. Psychologists call it compulsion. Even the timing of notifications is engineered. Platforms deliberately delay showing you likes and comments to create anticipation. Then release them in batches so that when you check your phone, the reward feels larger. Your brain gets a bigger dopamine hit. And comes back sooner. You are not using social media. Social media is using you. And here is where it stops being just interesting and starts being alarming. Every time you scroll and receive a small reward, a funny video, a surprising post, a like on your photo, your brain releases a small pulse of dopamine. Over time, your brain adjusts. It begins to need more stimulation to produce the same dopamine response. This is called tolerance, the same mechanism at work in addiction. Brain imaging studies on heavy social media users show measurable changes in the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for impulse control, long-term planning, and resisting temptation. The very part of your brain that should be telling you to put the phone down is being weakened by the behavior itself. Research from Microsoft found that the average human attention span has dropped from 12 seconds in the year 2000 to 8 seconds today. Less than a goldfish. But more concerning than the statistic is what's driving it. Constant context switching, the rapid jumping between content, is training your brain to be unable to sustain focus. The brain rewires itself around what it does repeatedly. If you repeatedly fragment your attention, fragmented attention becomes your default. Here is the trap that closes completely. As your dopamine baseline drops from chronic overstimulation, normal life begins to feel flat. Reading a book, boring. Having a conversation, dull. Sitting quietly, unbearable. Nothing compares to the rapid-fire stimulation of the scroll. So you return to the scroll. Which drops your baseline further. Which makes real life feel even more flat. Which sends you back to the scroll. This is the dopamine deficit spiral. And it is the same mechanism that drives every chemical addiction. The substance, whether it's alcohol, cocaine, or a smartphone, hijacks the reward system, raises the threshold for pleasure, and makes everything else feel inadequate by comparison. Your phone is doing to your dopamine system what no previous technology in history has ever done. And it is doing it to billions of people simultaneously. So what actually works? Not motivation. Not willpower. Not just trying harder. Here is what the neuroscience actually says. 1. Add friction. Your phone is designed for zero friction. One tap and you're scrolling. Studies show that adding just a few seconds of delay moving apps off your home screen, using grayscale mode to remove color reward cues, can reduce usage by up to 30%. Your impulsive brain gives up when the path is slightly harder. 2. Schedule dopamine. Instead of letting your brain seek reward randomly all day, designate specific times for checking social media. This converts variable reward into predictable reward, and predictable rewards are significantly less addictive. 3. Replace, don't just remove. Attempting to simply stop scrolling leaves a dopamine vacuum. The brain will fill it, usually with the phone. Replace scroll time with a different dopamine source, exercise, music, a challenging task. Something that provides reward through effort. Not through engineered compulsion. You are not weak for struggling with this. You are not lazy. You are not lacking discipline. You are a human brain built over millions of years to seek reward, novelty, and connection up against a multi-billion-dollar industry that has spent decades learning exactly how to exploit that. The first step to reclaiming your attention is understanding what you're actually up against. Now you know.